Hello and welcome to week 3 of First John. And we finished chapter 1 of First John in Greek last week. And so now we're on to First John chapter 2. If you remember First John chapter 1, the first section, first 4 verses, the introduction, John says basically these are things we've seen, we've heard, we've touched, and now we're announcing to you. And our goal is that we might have fellowship with each other, and that's the introduction. And then we have the beginning of the body of the sermon, or whatever you want to call it, and the author says, John says, first of all, let's get something straight here. God is light, and anybody who walks in darkness is not in the light, but we walk in the light if we are having fellowship with God. If we say that we've never sinned, well, we're deceiving ourselves, and we're making God a liar. But if we confess our sin, he's faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. So now we get to chapter 2. Go ahead and see if you can translate this. If you're one of the people who've had a little bit of Greek, see if you can do it. Okay, hopefully you've done that. Now let me give you my translation as we start off. Little children of me. The iota there makes it little children. If it was just techna, it would be children. With it's like Ken, Kenny, Denny, or Dennis, Denny. See the difference? And in Greek, it works a little bit the same way as what my example. Put the little iota in there, and it's little children, my little children. These things I am writing to you in order that you might not sin. And if someone should sin, an advocate, a lawyer we have with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous, or the righteous Jesus Christ. Righteous Jesus Christ is our lawyer. And there you have it. Okay, so if you just came to give your practice, you can go off into the byways. So you can see, First John, this verse balances out. There are kind of 3 verses in First John that I think tell the most of the story with regard to sin. The first is, we've seen, if you say you haven't sinned, not true. But then later on, we'll see in 1 John 3:9, the one who is born of God is not able to continue sinning because God's seed remains in them. So if you say you've never sinned, that's wrong. But if you say, well, I sin all the time, that's wrong. People don't quote 1 John 3:9. They quote 1 John 1:8. But 3:9 says, the one who is born of God is not able to be sinning. But here's the bottom line, 2:1. John is writing so that they won't sin. But if they do, they have a pretty good advocate. They have a pretty good person who will advocate for them before the judge, as it were. Okay, well, now let's go into a little bit deeper, just a little bit slowed down into the translation. So I did a little interlinear here. Little children of me, my little children. I already talked about the iota. Makes that, we call that, it's a diminutive. It makes it smaller. And then these things, that's a neuter plural alpha. Bingo. So it's these things, plural. Tauta is one of those demonstratives you should memorize as these things, because it's all over the place in the New Testament. Grapho is a good old simple first person singular present active indicative of grapho. I am writing. And of course, the present tense tends to have a continuous flavor to it in Greek, even more than present time. So I'm writing these things to you, okay? Neuter, that's a plural, dative plural of y'all. And it even begins with a you, okay? And he's doing it in order that, subjunctive is coming, right? I know there's going to be a subjunctive, and there it is. I'm not disappointed. I know this word is subjunctive. I'm going to go ahead of myself because the vowel has been fried. Normally it would be an eta with an epsilon, but it's been fried to an eta in keeping with the subjunctive. And of course, may is the word for not that is used in non-indicative situations. So that was another clue. In order that you might not sin. In order that you not sin. And if someone should sin, conditional clause, an advocate we have with the Father, the righteous Jesus Christ. Righteous Jesus Christ. Just Jesus Christ. Or it's often translated Jesus Christ the righteous. but this is a straight old adjective, really. So the righteous Jesus Christ. There's another with the Father with a pros, which is it's John's style, I would say, that he often does that. You might say an advocate towards the Father. I mean, you could say that here, but that's not really good English. An advocate toward the Father. It's just not the way we normally would say that in English. But this is easier than some other Johannine uses of the pros expression, because the advocate, I suppose, does face the Father, doesn't the advocate face before the Father? Okay, now let's go into the grammar. Stage 3, grammar. So I've already told you a little bit. This is a vocative. It is a neuter plural vocative, neuter plural alpha. Bingo. So it's plural, children, but it's in the vocative mood. I mean, the vocative case. It's the case of address. He's addressing the little children. Tauta is the demonstrative pronoun, right? Yes, it is. Okay, next line. We already talked a little bit about it. What kind of a clause does hina introduce? Probably a purpose clause. What kind of a clause does an introduce? A conditional clause. And so hina introduces a purpose clause and suggests the subjunctive is coming. Subjunctive is coming. We're not disappointed. Here's a subjunctive. I don't know if I give the parsing. I don't think I do. So let's talk about the parsing of this. So te, o ace a, amen ete, usi. It's a second person plural and tends to be active. Second person plural active. The connecting vowel is fried, and so that's subjunctive. Now, the word is hamartano. Hamartano. Now, the on of hamartano is missing, right? And so it doesn't have the letters of the present tense. There are really only two tenses for the subjunctive. One is the present, one is the aorist. And this isn't present because the on of hamartano is missing. So it must be aorist. So it's aorist active subjunctive, second plural from hamartano. I'm writing these things to you in order that you might not sin. And if, conditional clause, and again, what does that on say? Subjunctive is coming, subjunctive is coming. And so this is indeed subjunctive. And I must have gotten interrupted before I finished writing indefinite for this. So tis is the indefinite pronoun, sorry. If it has the accent, it's the interrogative pronoun. If it doesn't have the accent, it's the indefinite. So, and if someone should sin, now I don't think I give, interesting, I've messed up my PowerPoint. But this again, ace a, third person singular, active, but it's been fried, so it's subjunctive. And again, we don't have the on of hamartano, and so it's also aorist. The aorist tense in the subjunctive simply means undefined action, blah, in order that you might not sin, blah, just don't do it. If someone should sin at some time, blah. So they're undefined action. That is the default kind of tense. So in order that you might not sin, and if someone should sin, an advocate we have the Father, righteous Jesus Christ. Okay, I have a second page. Oh, I did. I just didn't delete on the previous PowerPoint. So everything I just said is right there in this line. This is the protasis, by the way, if someone should sin, the if part of it. So then this is the apodosis. Okay, so there we've killed it. We've dissected the frog. 1 John 2:1. And so we come to part 4 of our video, where we, for those of you who don't know any Greek at all, we go over the letters and try to pronounce the words. So again, pause the video, see if you can say the letters and pronounce the word, and come back and listen to me. So let's start. Tau, epsilon, kappa, nu, iota, alpha. Technia. Mu, omicron, upsilon. Mu, of me. Tau, alpha, upsilon, tau, alpha. Tauta. Gamma, rho, alpha, phi, omega. Grapho. Upsilon with a rough breathing mark, hu, mu, iota, nu. Humin. Iota with a rough breathing mark, he, or hi, nu, alpha, hina. Mu, eta, may, not. Alpha with a rough breathing mark, ha. Mu, alpha, rho, tau, eta, tau, epsilon. Hamarteta. I'm sorry, hamarteta. Hamarteta. Chi, on, kappa, alpha, iota, epsilon, alpha, nu, tau, iota, sigma, tis. Alpha with a rough breathing mark, mu, alpha, rho, tau, eta with an iota subscript hanging on for dear life. Hamarte. P, alpha, rho, alpha, kappa, lambda, eta, tau, omicron, nu. Parakleton. Epsilon, chi, omicron, mu, epsilon, nu. Echomen. P, rho, omicron, sigma. Pros. Tau, omicron, nu. Tone. P, alpha, tau, epsilon, rho, alpha. Patera. Iota, eta, sigma. Omicron, upsilon, nu. Yesun, Jesus. Capital Chi, rho, iota, sigma, tau, omicron, nu. Christone. Delta, iota, kappa, alpha, iota, omicron, nu. Dikion. And there you have it. So, technia mu, tauta grapho humin, hina me hamarteta, kai ean tis hamarte, parakleton echomen, proston patera, Yesun Christon, dikion. Okay, and there we have it. 1 John 2:1. We will see you, Lord willing, mañana en la mañana, tomorrow for 1 John 2:2.